We didn't really talk about money mistakes that you made.
Oh, God, that's a really good one.
You mentioned so many mistakes that you've made with money over the past couple of years, but what do you think was the single biggest one of those mistakes that you made?
Am I allowed to?
You're allowed to, yes.
Sure.
Awesome. Number one.
Not having a goal after we bought our first home. So we bought that house and then we just ramped our spending up because we didn't have anything we were saving for. You know, we'd achieved this huge financial goal of buying this house and
was actually being persuaded in the early days to invest in a high cost fund of funds.
We didn't have any real plans. And so we just started spending more money on, you know, like craft beer and leather boots and manicures and just things that are just
a high-tech, high-cost fund. And I put about a lot of money at the time, enough for a house deposit in there. And just before the market crash.
Okay, we do still buy a lot of craft beer. Mindy's laughing because we do buy a lot of beer.
I have a blog post about it where I actually run the numbers and see what this, I call it adventures in real estate. And so the adventure ended up costing us, we lost about $150,000 on that adventure.
I'm laughing at the manicure because I met you post FI life and you're not a manicure kind of girl. Not in my head.
The money vanished and it never returned. And having read Jim's book about low-cost investing, like I never would have done that if I was introduced to his material before then. That cost me a lot of money and I should have invested in a house or something else.
Even with the rental income recouping and even with the sale of the property and everything else, that includes total cost and interest, everything else. It was a $150,000 lesson.
Does that include the $8,000 you walked away with at closing?
Yes, actually. I had to think about it for a minute.
You know, that was the biggest mistake we made. You know, we really lost out on a lot of savings.
And the second one, like I was thinking about this the other day and it keeps hitting in my head, was actually a missed opportunity that I didn't take.
I should have been buying houses in the downturn as fast as I could because everything I bought cash flowed and needed like zero work. I mean, it was like the best time in the history that I've ever seen to buy homes.
I spotted a block of flats, a block of apartments that was undervalued, significantly undervalued, like 30 or 40 grand.
What I should have done was had more confidence in myself, bet on myself, and trusted that I would find a way as a single guy who was willing to do whatever it took to make those payments.
So I was desperately trying to negotiate them down even further. And by doing that, I missed the opportunity and they all sold to other people.
I probably, if I would have bought 4 houses a year instead of 1, every one of those houses has gone up by a minimum of $250,000 since I bought them. I mean, some of them more than that, right? So you can imagine over 3 years buying 3 extra houses a year, each of them going up $250,000, the difference that would have made in my future. And what it taught me is that, like, don't confuse being conservative for like safety. It's not buying a deal, which you can convince yourself is the safest way to not lose money, can actually cost you a ton of money if you look at what it would have made you over a period of 30 years.
If you know it's a good deal, take the deal. Don't try and squeeze the last cent out of it.
And I didn't buy them because I talked myself into thinking I need to be able to pay every single mortgage for 6 months all at the same time. If every tenant quits going in, there's no reason to be that conservative. I thought being conservative was keeping me safe. And what it did is it ended up costing me a ton of money.